Hare Krishna, welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam class. Before we do our Srimad Bhagavatam class, let's do a simple Mangala Charana. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaim Narottamam, Deving Saraswating Vyasam Tato Jayamiti Rayat. Before reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the only means of conquest, let us offer our respectful obeisances to the personality of Godhead Lord Narayana, onto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, onto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and onto Srila Vyasadeva, the author of Srimad Bhagavatam. Nastaparesha Vadarishu Nityam Bhagavate Vaya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistikihi. By regular attendance of Srimad Bhagavatam class and by rendering service to the lotus feet of pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely vanquished, and loving devotional service onto the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is praised by transcendental song and choice poetry, is established in one's heart as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timirandhyasya Ganagena Salakaya Chaksuramaratanjana Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master illuminated my heart with the torch of transcendental knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Nama Om Vishnuday Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimite Japataka Swami Iti Namni Nama Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Padayane Gorakadadam Dai Niragram Tani Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Welcome everyone to today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 16, chapter entitled The Lord's Opulence. So in this chapter, Uddhava will continue his conversation with Krishna, and Uddhava will ask about the opulence of the Supreme Lord. So the reason why Uddhava is asking this question is because, as we all know, in this material world, everybody is chasing after some kind of opulence, whether it be, wealth, family, name, fame. So Uddhava want to establish that the very source of all these opulences that we all so much desire is actually Lord Sri Krishna. So let's begin. Text number 1. Sri Uddhava said, "My dear Lord, you are the beginningless and endless, the absolute truth himself, unlimited by anything else. You are the protector and life giver, the destruction and creation of all things that exist." So here Uddhava addressed the Lord as Paramam, or Supreme Brahman, because in his feature as Bhagavan, the Lord is the highest feature of the absolute truth and the shelter of unlimited spiritual opulence. Unlike those of ordinary living entities, the Lord's opulence cannot be restricted by time. Thus, the Lord is Anadi Antam, without beginning and end, and Apartam, unhindered by any superior or equal potencies. The opulence of the material world is also resting within the Lord, who alone can protect, maintain, create, and destroy the material world. In this chapter, Sri Uddhava inquired from the Lord about his spiritual and material opulence in order to refine his appreciation of the Lord's position as the absolute truth. Even Lord Vishnu, the ultimate creator of the material world, is an expansion of Lord Krishna, and thus Sri Uddhava wishes to fully appreciate the unique status of his personal friend, Sri Krishna. Text number 2. My dear Lord, although it is difficult for the impious to understand that you are situated in all superior and inferior creations, those Brahmanas who actually know of the Vedic conclusion worship you in truth. So here Uddhava is saying that these learned Brahmanas, saintly persons, they are taken as evidence of the supremacy of Krishna, and therefore stated that although ignorant, impious persons are bewildered before the Lord's all-pervading features, those who are purified, clear consciousness worships the Lord as he is. In this chapter, Sri Uddhava inquires about the Lord's opulence, and here the words within superior and inferior creation clearly refers to the Lord's external opulence, those manifested in the material world. The saintly Brahmanas or Vaishnavas worship Lord Krishna within all things and yet recognize the varieties in the Lord's creation. For example, in worshipping the deity, the devotees will select nice flowers, fruits and ornaments for decorating the transcendental form of the Lord. Similarly, although the Lord is present in the heart of every conditioned soul, the devotee will give more attention to a conditioned soul's interest in the message of Lord Krishna. Although the Lord is everywhere, the devotees make distinctions for the sake of the Lord's service, because His presence is superior and inferior creation. Text number 3. Please tell me of the perfection that great sages achieve by worshipping you with devotion. Also kindly explain which of your different forms they worship. So here Sri Uddhava inquires about the spiritual opulence of the Lord, which consists primarily of His Vishnu Tattva expansions such as Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradumna and Aniruddha. By worshipping different planetary expansions of the Lord, one achieves particular perfections, and Sri Uddhava wants to know all about this. Text number 4. O my Lord, maintainer of all, although you are the super soul of the living entity, you remain hidden. Thus, being bewildered by you, the living entity cannot see you, although you are seeing them. So here, the Lord exists as the super soul within everything. He also appears in various incarnations or sometimes empowers a devotee to act as an incarnation. All such forms of the Lord are unknown to the non-devotees. The bewildered conditioned soul thinks the supreme enjoyer Sri Krishna is actually meant to be enjoyed by them for their sense gratification. Praying to God for specific material benediction and assuming God's creation to be their personal property, the non-devotees cannot understand the actual form of the Lord. They therefore remain foolish and bewildered. Within the universe, everything is subject to creation, maintenance and destruction, and thus the super soul is only actually controlled in the material world. This is the only actual control in the material world. Unfortunately, when the super soul appears in various incarnations to clarify his position, ignorant persons think that the super soul is merely another creation of modes of nature. As stated in this verse, they cannot see that persons who is actually seeing them and simply remains bewildered. Text number 5. O supremely potent Lord, please explain to me your innumerable potencies which you manifest on the earth, in heaven, in hell, and indeed in all directions. I offer my humble obeisance to your lotus feet, which are the shelter of all holy places. So here Uddhava inquires about the Lord's material and spiritual potencies as manifested within our universe. Just as ordinary animals or insects living in human cities cannot appreciate the scientific, cultural, or military advancement of man, similarly, foolish materialists cannot appreciate the mighty opulence of the personality of Godhead, even those manifested within our universe. For the appreciation of ordinary human beings, Uddhava requested the Lord to reveal exactly how and in what form He expands His potency. As already explained, the Lord is the essential ingredient for all this existence, and thus any mighty or opulent manifestation must ultimately rest on the Lord Himself. Text number 6. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O best of those who know how to inquire, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Arjuna, desiring to fight with his rival, asked me the same question that you are now posing. So here Krishna is giving an indication to Uddhava that, this Uddhava and Arjuna they're asking the same question that was posed, the same question regarding the opulence of the personality of Godhead. Lord Krishna considered it wonderful that his two dear friends had asked exactly the same question. In Bhagavad Gita, there's a chapter 10. The title of the chapter is The Opulence of the Absolute. So this chapter is similar to that chapter. Text number 7. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Arjuna thought that killing his relatives would be an abominable, irreligious activity motivated only by his desire to acquire a kingdom. He therefore desisted from the battle, thinking, I would be the killer of my relatives. They would be destroyed. Thus Arjuna was afflicted with mundane consciousness. So this is the beginning plot of Bhagavad Gita. Text number 8. At that time I enlightened Arjuna, the tiger among men, with logical arguments, and thus in front of the battle Arjuna addressed me with questions in the same way that you are now inquiring. Text number 9. My dear Uddhava, I am the super soul of all living entities, and therefore I am naturally their well-wisher and supreme controller. Being the creator, maintainer and annihilator of all entities, I am not different from them. So here Krishna is giving the answer that it is not different from, he is not different from all living entities because they are coming from him and they belong to him. The Lord gives a similar example to Arjuna in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text 20, beginning with the word Aham Atma. Although the Lord describes his external or material opulence, the Lord's position is always transcendental and non-material. Just as living souls within the body gives life to the body, similarly, the Lord by his supreme potency gives life to all universal opulence. Text number 10. I am the ultimate goal of all those seeking progress, and I am time among those who exert control. I am the equilibrium of the mode of material nature, and I am natural virtue among the pious. Text number 11. Among things possessing qualities, I am the primary manifestation of nature, and among great things, I am the total material creation. Among subtle things, I am the spirit soul, and of things that are difficult to conquer, I am the mind. Text number 12. Among the Vedas, I am the original teacher, Lord Brahma, and of all mantras, I am the three-letter Omkara. Among letters, I am the first letter A, and among sacred meters, I am the Gayatri mantra. Text number 13. Among the demigods, I am Indra, and among the Vasus, I am Agni, the god of fire. I am Vishnu among the sons of Aditi, and among the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Lord Vishnu also actually appeared as Vamanadev in the family of the Devas. Text number 14. Among saintly Brahmanas, I am Bhrigu Muni, and I am Manu among saintly kings. I am Narada Muni among saintly demigods, and I am Kamadinu among cows. Text number 15. I am Lord Kapila among perfect beings, and Garuda among birds. I am Daksha among the progenitors of mankind, and I am Aryama among the forefathers. Text number 16. My dear Uddhava, among the demoniac sons of Diti, know me to be Prahlad Maharaj, the saintly lord of the Asuras. Among the stars and herbs, I am Lord Chandra, the moon, and among Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the lord of wealth, Kuvera. Text number 17. I am Aryavata among lordly elephants, and among aquatics I am Varuna, the lord of the sea. Among all things that heat and illuminate, I am the sun, and among human beings I am the king. So here, Krishna is significantly, he is saying that Krishna is represented within the universe by the Lord or Supreme in all categories. No one can be aristocratic or perfect as Sri Krishna, nor can anybody estimate the glories of Sri Krishna. Lord Krishna is without doubt the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text number 18. Among heroes, I am Uchaisvara, and I am gold among metal. I am Yamaraj among those who suppress and punish, and among serpents, I am Vasuki. Text number 19. O sinless Uddhava, among the best of snakes, I am Anantadeva, and among those animals with sharp horns and teeth, I am the lion. Among the social orders, I am the fourth, or the renounced order of life, and among the occupational division, I am first the Brahmana. Text number 20. Among sacred and flowing things, I am the holy Ganga, and among steady bodies of water, I am the ocean. Among weapons, I am the bow, and of the wielder of weapons, I am Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is famous for using his bow to cover cities that was built by Maya Danava with arrows. Text number 21. Among residents, I am Mount Sumeru, and of unconquerable places, I am Himalayas. Among trees, I am the holy fig tree, and among plants, I am that bears grains. So grains to us are very, very important, because once a person wants to live, he has to live with grains. Among them, those that give grains which sustain human life represents Krishna. Without grains, it cannot be possible to produce milk products, nor can anyone properly perform Vedic fire sacrifice without offering of grains. Text number 22. Among priests, I am Vashishta Muni, and among those highly situated in Vedic culture, I am Brihaspati. I am Kartikeya among great military leaders, and among those advancing in superior ways of life, I am the great personality Lord Brahma. Text number 23. Among sacrifices, I am study of the Vedas, and I am non-violent among vows. Among all things that purify, I am the wind, fire, and the sun, water, and speech. Text number 24. Among the 8 progressive stages of yoga, I am the final stage, Samadhi, in which the soul is completely separated from illusion. Among those desiring victory, I am prudent political counsel, and among possessors of expert discrimination, I am the science of the soul, by which one distinguishes spirit from matter. Among all speculative philosophers, I am diversity of perception. So here Krishna is saying that any science is based on factual or expert discrimination. By skillful definition of isolated and interactive components, one becomes expert in any fields. Ultimately, the most intelligent person can isolate the spirit soul from matter and describe the properties of matter and spirit as both isolated and interactive components of reality. The variety of philosophical speculation is due to different modes of perception within this material world. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, text 15, Sarvasyahang Hirdi Sanvista Mata Smriti Gyanam Apohanam Cha. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart and awards a particular degree of knowledge or ignorance according to one's desire and merit. Thus, the Lord Himself is the basis of the mundane process of philosophical speculation, for He creates differing and alternating modes of perception within the conditioned soul. It is to be understood that one can acquire perfect knowledge only by hearing directly from Lord Krishna, and not by hearing from conditioned philosophers who imperfectly perceive the creation of the Lord through the screen of their personal desires. Text number 25. Among ladies, I am Satarupa, and among male personalities, I am her husband, Swayambhuva Manu. I am Narayana among the sages, and Sanat Kumara among brahmacharis. Text number 26. Among religious principles, I am renunciation, and of all types of security, I am consciousness of the eternal soul within. Of secrets, I am pleasant speech and silence, and among sexual pairs, I am Brahma. So here, one who realizes the eternal soul within no longer fears any material situation, and thus is qualified to accept the renounced order of life, sannyasa. Certainly, fear is one of the greatest miseries of material life. Therefore, the gift of fearlessness is very valuable and represents Lord Krishna. Both in ordinary pleasant speech and silence, very few confidential things are revealed, and thus diplomacy and silence are both aids to secrecy. Lord Brahma is prominent among sexual pairs because their original beautiful couple, Swayambhuva Manu and Satarupa, emerged from Lord Brahma's body, as explained in chapter 12 of the 3rd canto of SrimadBhagavatam. Text number 27. Among the vigilant cycle of time, I am the year, and among seasons I am spring. Among months I am Magarisa, and among lunar houses I am the auspicious Abhijit. Text number 28. Among sages I am Satya Yuga, the age of truth, and among steady sages I am Devala and Asita. Among those who have divided the Vedas, I am Krishna Dvaipan Veda Vyas, or Srila Vyasadev. And among learned scholars, I am Sukracharya, the knower of spiritual science. Text number 29. Among those entitled to the name Bhagavan, I am Vasudeva. And indeed you, Uddhava, represents me among the devotees. I am Hanuman among the Kim Purushas. And among the Vidyaharas, I am Sudarsana. So here the Vedic literature states that one who possesses perfect knowledge of creation and destruction of all entities and who is completely situated in omniscience is to be known as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. Although many great personalities are sometimes called Bhagavan, ultimately Bhagavan is the one supreme entity who possesses unlimited opulence. Throughout history, many important personalities have been addressed as Lord, but ultimately there is only one Supreme Lord. In the Lord's Chaturvyuha, or quadruple expansion, the first manifestation is Vasudeva, who here represents all the Lord's expansion in the Vishnu Tattva category. Text number 30. Among jewels, I am the ruby, and among beautiful things, I am the lotus cup. Among all types of grass, I am the sacred kusa, and of oblations, I am ghee, and other ingredients obtained from the cow. So, cows are very important in Vedic culture because in Vedic ceremonies we use Panchagavya. So, this Panchagavya refer to 5 sacrificial ingredients obtained from cows, namely milk, ghee, yogurt, cow dung, and cow urine. The cow is so valuable that even its dung and urine is antiseptic and fit for sacrificial offering. Kusa grass is also used for religious occasions. Maharaj Parikshit constructs a sitting place for Kusa grass during the last week of his life. Among beautiful things, the lotus cup formed by lotus petals represents Lord Krishna. And among jewels, the ruby, which is similar to Lord Krishna's own Kastuba gem, symbolizes the potency of the Lord. Text number 31. Among the enterprising, I am fortune, and among the cheaters, I am the gambling. I am forgiveness of the tolerance and the good qualities of those in the mode of goodness. Text number 32. Of the powerful, I am bodily and mental strength, and I am the devotional activities of my devotees. My devotees worship me in 9 different forms, among which I am the original and primary Vasudeva. So here, generally the Vaishnavas worship the personality of Godhead as Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradumna, Aniruddha, Narayana, Hayagriva, Varaha, Narasingha, and Brahma. It is understood that when a suitable living entity is not available to fill the post of Brahma, the Lord himself assumes the position. Therefore, Lord Brahma is mentioned in this list. Lord Vishnu sometimes appears as Indra and sometimes as Brahma, and it is Vishnu appearing as Brahma who is indicated in this connection. Text number 33. Among the Gandharvas, I am Vishwavasu, and I am Purvachiti among the heavenly Apsaras. I am steadiness of mountain and the fragrant aroma of the earth. So this fragrant aroma of the earth is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Punya Gandha Parvittam Cha. I am the fragrance of the earth. Bhagavad Gita 7, chapter 7, text 9. The original fragrance of the earth is very pleasing and represents Lord Krishna. Although unpleasant aromas may be artificially produced, they do not represent the Lord. Text number 34. I am the sweet taste of water, and among brilliant things I am the sun. I am the effulgence of the sun, moon, and stars, and I am the transcendental sounds that vibrates in the sky. So here, next time, it's indicated here that next time you look up the sky and you see the moon or you see the stars, that is representative of Krishna. Text number 35. Among those dedicated to Brahminical culture, I am Bali Maharaj, the son of Virochana, and I am Arjuna among heroes. Indeed, I am the creator, maintainer, and annihilator of all living entities. Text number 36. I am the functions of the 5 working senses, the legs, speech, anus, hand, and sex organ, as well as those of the 5 knowledge acquiring senses, touch, sight, taste, hearing, and smell. I am also the potency by which each of the senses experience each particular sense object. Text number 37. I am form, taste, aroma, touch, and sound. False ego, the Mahatattva, earth, water, fire, air, and sky, the living entity, material nature, the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, the transcendental Lord. All these items, along with knowledge of their individual symptoms and the steady conviction that results from this knowledge, represents me. So here Krishna is giving a brief but detailed synopsis of his personal opulence within this world. The Lord is now briefly summarizing the opulence that expands from his bodily effulgence. It is stated in Brahma Samhita that all of the material universes within their infinite varieties and transformation and opulence rest on the bodily effulgence of the Lord. Text number 38. As the Supreme Lord, I am the basis of the living entity, of the modes of nature, and of Mahatattva. Thus, I am everything, and nothing whatsoever can exist without me. So this is a very, very clear, straightforward, important verse. Without the manifestation of Mahatattva or total material existence, the Jiva or the living entity cannot exist within the material world. Everything we experience is a combination of the living entity and matter. It is in its various subtle and gross categories. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the entire basis of the existence of both the living entity and matter. Nothing can possibly exist even for a moment without the mercy of the Supreme Lord. One should not foolishly conclude that the Lord is therefore material. As has been clearly explained in this canto of the Bhagavatam, both the living entity and the Supreme Lord are completely transcendental to material nature. The living entity, however, has the propensity to dream that he is material, whereas the Lord constantly remembers the transcendental position of both himself and the conditioned dreaming entity. As the Lord is transcendental, his abode is also far beyond the reach of modes of nature. The actual purpose of life is to understand by mature conviction the transcendental Lord, his transcendental abode, our own transcendental position, and the process by which we may go back home, back to Godhead. That is the very basis of the phrase Dharma. Text number 39. Even though over a period of time I might count all the atoms of the universe, I could not count all my opulence, which I manifest within the innumerable universe. So this is a very curious statement by Krishna. Krishna is explaining to Uddhava that should not expect a complete catalogue of the Lord's opulence, since even the Lord himself finds no limit to such opulence. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is within every atom and can therefore easily calculate the total number of atoms. However, although the Lord is certainly omniscient, even he himself cannot supply a finite number of his opulence because they are infinite. Text number 40. Whatever power, beauty, fame, opulence, humility, renunciation, mental pleasure, fortune, strength, tolerance, or spiritual knowledge there may be is simply an expansion of my opulence. So here Krishna states then in the previous verse that his opulence are innumerable, and the Lord has given a specific resume and demonstration of his opulence. Text number 41. I have briefly described to you all my spiritual opulence and also the extraordinary material feature of my creation, which are perceived by mind and defined in different ways according to circumstances. So here Lord Krishna has described his opulent planetary expansion such as Vasudeva, Narayana and the Supersoul, etc. And further the Lord has described the outstanding feature of the material creation, which are also included among the glories of the personality of Godhead. The planetary manifestation of the Lord such as Vasudeva, Narayana, etc. are all external, unchanging, transcendental features of the Lord. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has commented on this verse as follows. He says there that the Lord's external potencies are called Mano Vikara or related to mental transformation because ordinary people perceive extraordinary features of the material world according to their personal state of mind. Thus the word indicates that the conditioned soul describes the Lord's material creation according to specific material circumstances. Because of the circumstantial relative definition of material opulence, such opulence is never to be considered a direct plenary manifestation of the Lord's personal form. When one's state of mind is transformed into a favorable or affectionate state, one defines a manifestation of the Lord as energy, as my son, my father, my husband, my uncle, the son of my brother, my friend, and so on. One forgets that every living entity is actually part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that whatever opulence, talent, or outstanding feature one may exhibit are actually the potencies of the Lord. Similarly, when the mind is transformed into a negative or inimical state, one thinks, this person will be the ruin of me. This person must be finished by me. He is my enemy. I am his enemy. He is a killer. He should be killed. The negative state of mind is also expressed when one is attracted to the extraordinary material aspects of the particular person or object, but forgets that they are manifestation of the potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even demigods Indra, who is quite obviously a manifestation of the Lord's material opulence, is misunderstood by others. For example, Indra's wife Sachi thinks that Indra is my husband, whereas Aditi thinks that he is my son. Jayanta thinks that he is my father. Brihaspati thinks that he is my disciple, whereas the demon feel that Indra is their personal enemy. Thus, different personalities define him according to their mental state. The Lord's material opulence, being relatively perceived, are therefore called manovikara, which means they are dependent on mental states. This relative perception is material because it does not recognize the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the actual source of the particular opulence. If one sees Lord Krishna as the source of all opulence and gives up all desires to enjoy or possess the Lord's opulence, then one can see the spiritual nature of that opulence. At that time, even though one may continue to perceive the variety and distinction of material world, one will become perfect in Krishna consciousness. One should not conclude, as do the Voidist philosophers, that the Lord's spiritual manifestation is Vishnu Tattva and liberated Jiva category are also product of relative perception and mental states. This useless idea is contrary to the entire body of Supreme Personality of Godhead, teaching to Sri Uddhava. Text number 42. Therefore, control your speech, subdue the mind, conquer the life air, regulate the senses, and through purified intelligence bring your rational faculty under control. In this way, you will never again fall onto the path of material existence. So Krishna is giving advice to Uddhava here. One should see all things as an expansion of the Supreme Lord's potency. And thus with speech, mind and words, one should offer respect to all things without minimizing any living entity or material object. Since everything belongs to the Lord, everything ultimately should be engaged in the Lord's service with great care. A self-realized devotee tolerates personal insults and does not become envious of any living entity, nor does he see anyone as his enemy. This is practical enlightenment. Although a pure devotee may criticize those who obstruct the Lord's mission, such criticism is never personally motivated, nor is it ever based on enviousness. An advanced devotee of the Lord may chastise his followers or criticize the demoniac, but only to carry out the mission of the Supreme Lord, and never out of personal enmity or enviousness. For one who completely gives up the material concept of life, there is no possibility of entering again onto the path of birth and death. Text 43. A transcendentalist does not completely control his words and mind by superior intelligence will find that his spiritual vows and austerities and charities flow away just as water flows out of an unbaked clay of pot. Okay, this verse here, Krishna is giving a warning. He's giving a warning. He's giving an example here of a clay pot. When a clay pot is properly baked, it holds any liquid substance without leakage. If a clay pot is not properly baked, however, water or any other liquid within it will seep out and be lost. Similarly, a transcendentalist who does not control his speech and mind will find that his spiritual discipline and austerities gradually seep away and are lost. Dana or charity refers to work performed for the welfare of others. Those who try to give the highest charity by preaching Krishna consciousness should not engage in speaking cleverly for the satisfaction of beautiful women, nor should they attempt to become artificially intellectual simply for the sake of mundane academic prestige. One should not even think of intimate sexual relationships, nor should one daydream of acquiring a prestigious position. Otherwise, one's determination to strictly practice Krishna consciousness will be lost, as described here. One must control the mind, sense, and speech by higher intelligence, so that one's life will be successful. Text number 44. Being surrendered to me, one should control the speech, mind, and life air, and then through loving devotional intelligence, one will completely fulfill the mission of life. So in this final text in this chapter, Krishna, he is explaining that one can develop loving devotional intelligence by perfectly chanting the Brahma Gayatri mantra awarded at the moment of Brahmana initiation. By clear intelligence, one becomes naturally and spontaneously disinterested in the reward offered by material speculation and fruitive activities, and take full shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here, Krishna is explaining in detail, more detail than his explanation in chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita. Simply by observing that which is wonderful and great in this material world, we are reminded of Krishna at every moment. And by being reminded, we can save ourselves from a cycle of birth and death. Hare Krishna, thank you very much for listening to the class.